in Los Altos, California. Went to Yale undergrad, went to Microsoft out of school where I was a product manager, and then I switched into corporate strategy, and I started incubating 3 companies at once, one of which was ClassPass, one of which was Doppler Labs, which was a super hearing, bionic hearing company. All 3 ended up becoming venture-backed businesses, which was exciting, but nearly killed me because, I basically was co-running 3 companies at once. To Dropbox, I was able to kind of focus just on ClassPass, where my partner who had started the company, she really didn't enjoy being the CEO and the company was having. I fixed the business model, came up with this credit system that ClassPass has, and it really started to work. And it was a blast to work in the fitness and wellness industry. So eventually I moved out to Missoula, Montana, where I'm based now, and moved the ClassPass HQ out here originally because employees here were happier, cheaper, stayed at the company longer. And instead, we got an offer from Mindbody to be acquired. And so we did an equity merger. And after maybe 6 months or so of being the president of Mindbody, running ClassPass and the Mindbody consumer business, my boss, who's a close friend, Josh McCarter, was the CEO. I kind of woke up here, and now it's been 7 or 8 years of being in wellness technology, and now I'm the CEO of Mindbody and ClassPass. And the way to make super normal returns is to not just sell your time, but to own equity in something. I was really fortunate, being a young executive at Microsoft gave me a great calling card for startups. And I had basically talked my wife into quitting her corporate job, my then girlfriend, to quit her corporate. It wasn't like real death. It's like, just go start the next thing as long as you can find people to support you on it. And the importance of market and how hard it is to break through in consumer is an insight and a lesson learned. Having a business fail and having to shut the doors and stuff it's not an experience that I ever want to go through again. But it's the game. Having a business fail and having to shut the doors and stuff it's not an experience that I ever want to go through again. But it's the game. The biggest risk at the time, I think, would have been, can ClassPass continue to sell holdout brands like SoulCycle or F45 on joining the system and liquidating their inventory, and that they could do that without hurting their direct. Mindbody had data that they could show, hey, look, here's what's happened to the studios who joined ClassPass. Their business boomed afterwards, and it didn't hurt their direct business. Mindbody had data that they could show, hey, look, here's what's happened to the studios who joined ClassPass. Their business boomed afterwards, and it didn't hurt their direct business. The biggest lesson I've learned from the failures has been about choosing my markets carefully and kind of pre-vetting ideas as much as possible. The biggest lesson I've learned from the failures has been about choosing my markets carefully and kind of pre-vetting ideas as much as possible. The biggest lesson I've learned from the failures has been about choosing my markets carefully and kind of pre-vetting ideas as much as possible. The best advice for fundraising is the Steve Martin, just be so good they can't ignore you. Like, the best advice for fundraising is the Steve Martin, just be so good they can't ignore you. Like, don't delude yourself, don't fall in love with an idea, and be incredibly intellectually honest about the good and bad, and do as much non-programming validation as you can before writing a line of code. I think most investors look for, it used to be a devastating insight. It's now common knowledge, but network effects is most of the ball game for both companies that are business model innovation or hardcore tech driven. I passed on angel investing in Uber, which was the stupidest decision in my career. And because I just this is a joke. Like, this app there's no deep tech here. And drive your series of S curves. I still do that with ClassPass, right? I'm like, we started with studio fitness, then we expanded to gyms and climbing gyms, then we added spas and salons, and today we're launching food and beverage, and maybe in the future we'll do concerts or something.